Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Man stabbed to death allegedly over $400. A suspect has been taken into custody after a man was stabbed to death during a dispute in the community of Three Chains on the outskirts of Mandeville on Thursday night. A reliable police source told reporters that the dispute was over $400 owed by the victim. The deceased has been identified as 39-year-old Kevin Neal, otherwise called Catfish, a resident and landscaper of Three Chains. Police report that about 8:30 p.m., Neal was at a shop in Three Chains when a man confronted him. An argument developed between the men allegedly over the money owed. Police said the aggressor used a ratchet knife to stab Neal, who was pronounced dead at hospital. The suspect was arrested following the incident. Statistics from the Manchester Police show that up to October 8, the South Central Police recorded 46 murders since the start of the year when compared to 21 for the corresponding period last year. Westmoreland shop owner killed at candlelight vigil. Despite heavy police presence in the parish, the bloodletting has continued in Westmoreland. The latest victim is a shop owner of Sholing Darling Street in Savannah Lamar, who was shot and killed at a candlelight vigil on Thursday night in her community. She has been identified as 28-year-old Chantal Hunter. Reports from the police are that Hunter was among a group of people at a candlelighting when 3 loud explosions were heard. When the shooting subsided, it was discovered that Hunter had received a single gunshot wound to the face. She was subsequently assisted to the Savannah Lamar Public General Hospital by citizens, where she died while undergoing treatment. The latest statistics released on October 1 by the Jamaica Constabulary Force reveal that since the start of the year, Westmoreland has recorded 118 murders. That is 33 more murders than the corresponding period last year. 2 men shot, 1 fatally in Manchester. 2 men were shot, 1 fatally, at Liston District in Manchester on Friday afternoon. Preliminary reports are that about 1 p.m., residents heard loud explosions. Shortly after, the men were found at a remote section of the community, suffering from gunshot wounds. They were rushed to hospital where 1 man was pronounced dead and the other man admitted. A police source told reporters that detectives theorized that the men were involved in a ganja deal which went wrong. This latest incident follows Thursday night fatal stabbing of a man in a dispute in Three Chains reportedly over $400. Motorists hospitalized after 3-vehicle crash in Manchester. A man has been hospitalized following a 3-vehicle crash on the Savoy Main Road in Christiana on Friday. Reports reaching reporters are that the crash involved 3 Nissan motor cars. Firefighters were called shortly after 7 p.m. to remove the driver from one of the vehicles as he was reportedly pinned inside the mangled vehicle. The injured man was rushed to the Percy Junior Hospital where he has since been admitted. There was no other report of injury among those involved in the crash. Children's advocate says viral video with student being assaulted stressed his need for conflict resolution skills. Children's advocate Diana Gardner Harrison has reiterated the need for increased focus to be placed on conflict resolution. This after a video which has been circulated on social media shows a female student being physically assaulted by a man. In the video, a woman is seen confronting the female student, who it appeared had a disagreement with another student. The man then walked up to the female student and punched her. The student fell to the ground. The St. Catherine South police are probing the incident. Speaking with reporters on Friday morning, Mrs. Harrison said the video highlights the need for parents and students to know how to solve disputes without resorting to violence.
And so for me, it really highlights some very, critical social issues that we continue to speak about. Bullying of children, the fact that we don't know how to deal with issues appropriately when they arise. And it really calls for, I think, an intervention that has all the parties at the table speaking in one voice.
In the meantime, founder of advocacy group Hear the Children's Cry, Betty and Blaine, said the video indicates the need for a public education campaign on proper parenting.
This is yet another very disturbing video and a very clear indication to us that we are going to have to build out as a nation an impactful and effective parenting public education program. And we've done some in the past that have been very successful in reaching parents, especially mothers. The need for parenting education and support is now more urgent than ever when you see that video. The parents have to be taught the basics of acceptable social behavior, how to speak, how to dress, how you communicate with your children, and importantly, how you build a good working relationship with teachers and other school personnel.
Government and private sector urge to provide incentives for unpaid domestic and care workers. The government and private sector are being urged to provide support and incentives for persons who do unpaid domestic and care work. This is in a bid to boost the value of such categories of work and to acknowledge the contribution of care and domestic work to the country's gross domestic product. The matter was highlighted by a researcher at the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, Baruch Alexandra, during a presentation entitled Who Cares? The Real Cost of Unpaid Care and Domestic Work. Unpaid care, such as caring for household members, and unpaid domestic work, such as doing household chores, are mainly carried out by women. She opined that if unpaid works were to be part of Jamaica's GDP, its value would be more than the combined value of other recognized sectors. Ms. Alexander noted that the economic value of unpaid care domestic work is largely unknown, adding that unpaid work remains statistically invisible to policymakers, economists, and planners because it is not compensated. If these types of works were to be attributed a dollar figure and calculated, then its value to the country's economy would be shown.
Now, disaggregating and valuing unpaid work by activity type, it is seen that caring for children aged 0 to 5 has the highest contribution of all care activities at 94 billion Jamaican dollars, which is equivalent to 4% of GDP. Preparing and serving of food has the highest contribution of all domestic activities at 258 billion Jamaican dollars, which is equivalent to 12% of GDP. Even at the lowest possible wage rate, the value of unpaid care and domestic work in Jamaica is significant. But this value is not easily recognized or expressed. By calculating and having a dollar figure for its value, the true contribution of unpaid care and domestic work to the economy is revealed. The implication is that by converting unpaid work to paid work, whether by measures to reduce unpaid work or by the marketization of some care and domestic work services, some of that value will be realized in a more efficient allocation of resources, with a consequential increase in average labor productivity and thereby a greater GDP. We therefore put together 2 recommendations for women's unpaid work to be reduced and redistributed. Firstly, the state should subsidize the care economy by issuing vouchers to working parents for use at daycare and nursing care facilities. For example, through the Program of Advancement through Health and Education, PATH, which could be redeemed at approved and registered care providers. Secondly, state agencies should take the lead in offering childcare support at the workplace and/or support for their unpaid work obligations. And private sector employers should be incentivized by the state to provide support for their employees with care obligations.
Technology Ministry identifies consultant to assist in modernizing postal service. Minister of Technology Darrell Valls says a consultant has been identified to assist the government in modernizing the postal service. Speaking at the reopening of the Central Sorting Office on Thursday, Mr. Valls noted that technology has opened up tremendous possibilities for the inclusion of ICT in postal services. He said monetization efforts have come a far way, but there is more to be done.
With the advancement in technology, drone technology for package deliveries, 3D printing, peer-to-peer delivery networks, and artificial intelligence are some options which can be explored. Jamaica's modernization efforts in the postal service has come a far way, from the handwritten letter and the telegram through to the introduction of ICT. I'm pleased to know that a major part of the transformation of the PTB into a modern, agile postal service provider involves the pursuit of technological solutions to automate its processes. In this regard, we have connected 94 post offices island-wide to the internet. With these connections, post offices are able to offer and expand commercial services, example, bill payments and conduct point-of-sale transactions, remove dependence on other post offices to enter tracking information for services offering the tracking features, for example, zip mail, and reduce transaction processing time for counter services, thereby eliminating long wait by customers. The consultancy will analyze and define Jamaica's postal market and make policy recommendations for the possible structuring and regulation of Jamaica's postal market. I'm pleased that the procurement is in the final stages of approval and a consultant has been identified. The move to transform the postal service is just not a local, but a global one. New technologies are changing the way postal services are delivered to customers, and we must adapt and meet these new realities.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share,